Skyway. Do what's right. My motto, my elementary school motto. Yeah, it's a pretty good one, if I may. And with such a great motto, you have to be asking yourself, what was your mascot? Because it has to be freaking sweet. Cougar. No. Eagle. No. Spartan. No. We were the Comets. How do you have such a terrible, terrible mascot? Whoever was picking mascots that day just had to have been like incredibly late to the show, and he was picking from the bottom of the barrel. At Skyway, there was a tradition where the 6th graders got to go to 6th grade camp. 3 days, 2 nights of freaking awesome camp activities. I'm talking canoes, rock climbing, archery. And it was a freaking awesome time, is what it was. But nothing, these day activities, they did not compare at all to what happened when the lights went out at night. It's how these cabins were situated. We had kids, and then the chaperones had their own like little segregated area in between. I don't know what was going on this side, but I can tell you on my side, things got pretty crazy. This camp had a rule. No outside food. You could not bring the outside food into the inside of the camp. No candies, no cookies, no sweets, no creams, no nothing, no candy. No candy. For a 6th grade boy. You have a fat chance of that. So as soon as the chaperones went in their like little segregated room and closed the door, it was like elves jumping to the ready at Santa's workshop. And we were ready for the night to get crazy because we all just take out our bags and everybody has candy. Johnny has Oreos, Billy has Snickers, somebody has some Skittles or something like that. And then there was Mitchell. Mitchell was the equivalent of that seedy guy in the alleyway, like full on like coat. Long jacket, and he like opens it up and he's like, he's got like watches on this side and iPhones on this side, and he's just, hey, wanna buy a watch? That was Mitchell, okay, except with candy, because he opens up his bag. He opens up his bag and it's just filled to the brim with candy. It's like he took Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and just shoved it in his suitcase. I don't think he brought any clothes or like toothbrush or soap. He didn't know, just candy, right? And it was glorious. And it was like a little beacon because all of us kids were excited about our candy. And then we see Mitchell's bag. It was glorious. And we all partook. And we all had a grand time. And we bonded. Like, even if you didn't like so-and-so or so-and-so didn't like you, it didn't matter. Because in that moment, we were all together in one. It was epic. You're probably asking yourself, Adam, all this candy, what did you bring? I'll have you know, I did not partake in the candy. I brought something much more inappropriate. FHM, For Him magazine. It was essentially Playboy with girls in bikinis. So it was like a bikini magazine. And I gotta tell you, as a 6th grade boy, yeah, it was a pretty exciting time. We're all sitting there enjoying our candy, reading our FHM, our For Him magazines, and eventually we get to sleep. Day 2. Some more, archery, canoes, rock climbing. They had this one activity, it was awful. They gave us a compass and they had us navigate. It was terrible. Anyway, night comes by again, and chaperones go into the room, and we're all in bed, and we just slowly get up, and it's about to be Candy City Part 2, when suddenly, out from the door comes the chaperones. Hell's fury could not contain these hounds. Someone had tipped off the chaperones. Someone went and told them that we'd brought outside food. So these chaperones come in like freaking blood out, just like freaking like sniffling, just because they could like smell that something was afoot, and they knew something was going on. They knew we had brought outside food. So they come in, and like we're all just like deer in the headlights, like terrified of these people that just walked in. We're like, oh no, and maybe I pretended to be asleep. Oh, what's going on? Adam, you can step. You're standing up right now. You're clearly not asleep. Yeah, no, it's okay. They had us all line up in front of our beds, our bunk beds. Which, by the way, I had a freaking top bunk. Best bunk there is. We're standing in front of our bunks. And the teacher's going through, eyeballing us up and down. Someone thought it was a good idea to bring outside food into this camp. If this individual could just step forward, we can all go back to bed. No repercussions will be had. The rules are just very specific. No outside food. Nobody moved. Okay. I guess we'll just have to look at everybody's back then. My freaking heart was beating like a KitchenAid. And I'm freaking out because they're getting closer and closer to my bag. They're inching closer to me. They said no outside food. No cookies, no creams, no sweets, no candy. Not even eye candy. Going around one by one. And then they get to me. Oh! No, I was not about to go down for this. I step forward to the teacher and she looks at me. And I just like freaking... Suddenly I couldn't move. No. Like, I was freaking frozen by Medusa's gaze. She grabs my suitcase, the lid, and she pulls it up. And she sees clothes. Yeah, I guess I was pretty smart because I hid the magazines under the clothes. So she sees the clothes. She starts lowering it back down like, okay, yeah, there's no candy here. Wait! And she's looking at me because she can freaking smell my fear. And she just keeps her eyes on me. And she grabs the clothes because she knows something is hidden in this bag. She starts lifting up my clothes. From my position, I can freaking see the magazines. Dripping little beadlets of sweat. I'm freaking out. Somebody had freaking cranked the temperature up in the cabin because my goose was freaking cooked. Ebenezer Scrooge was running through the streets. Free goose for everyone! She's like lifting them up, about to bust me. I was saved. By a guardian freaking angel. A guardian named Mitchell. So another teacher yells, you have to come see this! She has the clothes, she drops them, looks at me and says, don't move. Freaking turned into stone. I couldn't move if I wanted to. So she goes over and she sees Mitchell's bag and he just starts dumping it on the bed. A bewitched Harry Potter bag, and it's just like candy just keeps pouring out of it. It's like Halloween and Christmas had a baby and they named her Candy. Now, as this teacher that is going through Mitchell's bag, and my teacher comes over and they're both looking and admiring just this insane amount of candy that this child had brought in. Another chaperone had wrapped back around to me, grabs my bag, opens it up, grabs my clothes. He's lifting up the clothes and he's got his eyes on me this whole time. You can smell the fear. He's lifting him up and the teacher yells over, go by him, I checked, he's clean. Oh my god. It came very freaking close. If they'd have found those For Him magazines in my bag, they would have made me call my freaking mom. Nothing is worse when they make you call your mom. And the fear was real. So day 3 comes. They line us up in front of the main cabin. And they divide us into 2 groups. Kids that partook in the candy, and kids that did not partake in the candy. These sides weren't exactly even. We had about 30 to 40 kids on this side, and maybe 4 or 5 on this side. We're gonna play capture the flag. However, all those that had partaken in the candy were not going to be allowed to play for 10 minutes. 10 minutes! That's like 10, better be freaking 10 years in kid time. Like, that's a long time. There was one child, Steven, and Steven did not partake in any of the candy. He did not have any of the candy. However, he was on the candy side, and he is crying. Apparently, Steven likes to partake in the capturing of the flag because the weather forecast called for rain, and Steven's face was emitting moisture. I knew what I had to do. I stood up and I yelled to the teacher, "Hey! We are Skyway. Do what's right. And I gotta do what's right." Steven did not partake in any of the candy. Is this true? And a bunch of just the collective. Yeah, Steven didn't have any of the candy. Well, then I apologize. Steven, you may join the others and start playing Capture the Flag. And in that moment, I finally realized what it felt like to fly with the comets.